early in your career, 3 fights in, International Fight Week. I mean, the biggest event of the year. I guess what's the feel like for you right now?
It's fucking awesome to be here. It's a pleasure. Obviously, it's exciting. I've always been a fan, and the fact that my dream has been to fight in Vegas. You give me the biggest fight you possibly could in Vegas, in International Fight Week, and with a card that's as stacked as it is. I mean, from top to bottom, it's just highly entertaining. So I'm looking forward to it being a fight card that people are going to remember, and being part of that myself and going in there and putting on a performance that everyone remembers. It's going to be awesome.
What'd you take out of your last fight, man? Obviously a victory, but there was some criticism. But I wonder sometimes if it's like, if you don't knock somebody out in 2 minutes, like you failed or something. Like, what do you make of that?
So what happened at the end of the fight? My hand got raised. That's the main thing. That is it. Regardless of my performance or what happens, whether I knock him out, whether I sub him, whether it's a fucking war, or whether I dominate the fight, as long as my hand gets raised, I've done my job. That is my job, is to go out there and win. It's put on a show and win. And I won. I won very convincingly. There wasn't any damage that I took. It was dominant. He parked the bus a little bit. He didn't kind of give me any... He didn't fight back nearly. He made it look like he was fighting. He just walked me down. It wasn't as exciting as I was hoping for. And I left there dissatisfied. Like I did. But at the end of the day, I did my job well. I won the fight. And then I can go, okay, what do I do now if that happens again? How do I overcome that? If someone's going to park the bus, how do I do that? I need to be more aggressive. I need to be the offensive striker as opposed to kind of wait and bait him out a little bit. I need to put it on him and fucking make him worried. And it's part of the process. I mean, you can win when you, win and learn. There is no other way. I've only won in my career, and I've learned so fucking much. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. I'm going to continue to grow, continue to learn, and no matter what happens in the cage, once I come out there victorious, I've done my job right, and I'm happy with myself in getting that win. But the performance itself, they can always be better. I mean, I'm never going to sit there and say, that was perfect. And if I did, then we need to improve on that again. So it's just constant evolution, constant growth. And yeah, you are right. We do leave there, and I know I can speak for myself, but I know other fighters feel this. But just because we won doesn't mean we're happy. I emailed Sean Shelby a couple days, maybe a week after that fight, and said, I want to get in there straight away again. I'm not happy. I'm kind of pissed off with that fight. I didn't get what I wanted, myself. I didn't feel happy with that performance, with that fight. And then he said July 2nd, and I was ready to cut weight on 2 weeks, I told him. So yeah, here we are. Now we have July 2nd. That's the main thing in my mind from now on.
I like it. What do you think of Gabe as an opponent? Do you think he's going to be the kind of guy that gives you the fight that you wanted last time?
Yeah, I do. Because he's small and he's stocky, so that initially straight away means he's going to have to close the distance and kind of be more aggressive than I am. He can't stand on the outside and pick me apart. It's not possible. He can't reach me. So he has to be aggressive. His style is I'll stand and brawl and kind of mix it up with switching stances, which is great, cool, sweet, happy days, bring it on. But when you meet me in the middle and you try rush, I'm going to fucking stand there, plant my feet, swing hard and see who hits harder, because I know who it's going to be. And that's what I'm looking forward to. I think he will bring it. I don't think this is going to be an easy fight in regards to that. I know he's going to be ready, he's going to be game, he's coming off 2 wins, he'll be confident. Great, cool, sweet. I don't want people coming off losses. I want people when they're happy. I want people when they think they're that fucking good, and then I go in there and I shut them down and I'll just say, I'm better. I'm better than you, and I want to prove that. And that's what I'm going to keep doing my entire career, is just proving that I'm the best. And I don't need to be better than anyone else in the world except the guy that stood across the cage from me that night. And that's it.
Last thing for me, the goal here, obviously massive opportunity, massive card, fighting in Vegas. So because of that, do you want to go in there and punctuate it with something special that gets people talking, or is it just, at the end of the night, let's make sure we get the hand raised?
Every single fight that I've ever been on, I've always been the person that people talk about. And that is always what I want. And whether it be all positive, like the last one, everyone was talking about me, but they were saying, oh, well, it was a decision, it wasn't a knockout. It doesn't matter, you're still talking about me. Now, you know that any press is good press. Now I go in there with a point to prove. It's I am that fucking good. I am the next big thing. I am the fucking future. And my skill set will show it. And when I stand there and I knock his ass out, that's all that will matter, is that I came out victorious again and I did what I said I was going to do. I go out there and win, 10-0.
Ian, back here to your left. How you doing, sir?
Hey, bro, how are you? You good?
I'm doing great. Obviously, another big card here, another big opportunity for you. But Gabe was in here earlier, and he was asked to sort of give his assessment of you, and he said, "You're a little big-headed, a little big for your britches at times."
Can I guess what he said? He's going to find his way to beat me. He said that he thinks I'm better than I am.
Yep.
Yeah, he said all these things. I've heard that before so many times. Everybody says it. It's all they have to cling on to. People say, "Oh, I think I'm going to be the guy to take his O. He thinks he's better. I think he thinks he's better than he is." It's like, no, that's not the case. It's like, I want him to feel like that. I want him because that means he's coming here with confidence and he thinks he can beat me. I want the best Gabe Green that we've seen so that when he leaves that cage and he's lost and I'm standing there above him, there's no excuses. But it's like, I've heard it so many times, mate, and I'll always hear it in my career because it's going to continue to be Ian Garry wins. He's 10-0, 11-0, 12-0. It's the same stuff.
Yeah, the one thing that really stood out is that he thinks you just have a really big head about yourself. But in fighting, is that such a bad thing to have sort of a big head and have that confidence?
A big head in what way? Because I have a confidence about my skill set. And when you ask me about confidence, I've had 9 fights and I've won 9 times. There's a reason I'm on 3 numbered cards in a row. There's a reason that the UFC are pushing me. It's because they know how good I am. They can see it. They see when I stand up here and I talk. I have confidence. It's in me. Like, it's not my fault that people don't have as much confidence as I do and they think it's cockiness or arrogance. I have an unapologetic self-belief, and I just want to show the world my skill set, and that's it. And fine, so what if he thinks I have a big head? It's like, he's got a fucking massive head, and it's going to make have you seen the size of it? It's like a basketball. So I just got to put my fucking fist through his face and see who wins then. But look, I have no disrespect to him. He can think that. Like, I like that he says that. Let's see what happens. Saturday night is the only thing that matters to me.
And the last thing for me, that fight in Jacksonville, going the distance, I know you weren't overly thrilled with the performance overall. You want to get right back in there. But in some respects, is that the best thing that could have happened to you, was having a fight like that?
No, the best thing that would have happened is I'd spark him and then go out and have a good time and get some pizza. But it's definitely experience. And you can never take away from gaining experience, no matter what it is. And considering I went 15 minutes, was fresh as a daisy after the 15 minutes, and I didn't really get touched. It's always nice to kind of build that confidence and have that time in the cage, because it's priceless, really. So yeah, you can only take that.
Ian, over here on the, I guess you're right. Just curious, your camp at Sanford, who did you mainly get to work with this time around going into the fight? Because I mean, your team's had a lot of momentum as of late.
Yeah, so there's obviously, you look at the guys in Sanford, it's absolutely ridiculous. Someone I did spend a lot of time with was Michael Johnson. My nutritionist pointed out that he's the exact same height and reach as Gabe, and MJ has got some of the fastest hands that we've seen. Like, when that guy puts a combination together, it's blisteringly quick. And he's a dog. He's ruthless. He's not afraid to come forward. He said to me recently, he said, "If you hit me, I know you're open somewhere." He's like, "So I'll take one to give 4 back." And I like that a lot. So I've put a lot of work in with him. And Jason Jackson, he's an awesome fighter. I think he's one of the best welterweights in the world. I keep telling him to have the attitude of, you are literally the best welterweight in the world. Like, I say to him, I walk up to him, I go, "Who's the best welterweight in the world?" And he's like, "You are." I'm like, "Fucking tell me you are." I'm like, "'Cause you are." I was like, "I want to be like you. I want," like, me and my wife sit there and say, like, he is the best. Like, he is a version of me in the future. Like, he's just so smart and calculating. He's awesome. So I'm just working with guys like that, and I enjoy every second of it.
And Jason's a pretty positive guy too in the gym. I don't think you ever see him break a smile. Just how important is that to have a guy like that in the gym when maybe you're not having a great day and he'll put you in a good mood?
Yeah, both of them are they're funny. Like, watching those two spar is more entertaining than any fight you'll ever see, because they talk so much shit. They're such good friends, and they help each other, but it's a different feeling, it's a different bond. So yeah, it's so valuable having teammates like that come in there and can always like pick you up and just bring good energy. And that's what it is. It's bring knowledge and good energy, and everyone wants to grow together. So we all have the same goals at the end of the day. We all want to be victorious and have a legacy. And whether it's money, whether it's fame, whether it's just success, legacy, we all just want to get into the cage and fight and win. That's it.
And last one for me, what did you make of Shavkat Rakhmonov's win last week against Neil Magny? Just a really dominant performance.
Shavkat's a savage. He's just so well rounded. Like doing rounds with him in the gym, it's obviously a pleasure. Like he's so good, and yeah, he deserves all the hype. I mean, the only reason he isn't more hyped than he is because of his lack of English. That's it. If he could sit up here and talk like me, he'd be one of the top in the world, because he'd be able to hype himself up, but he doesn't. And I like the fact that he sits there and he just goes, I'm going to let my performances do it. He's like, when you take media and like all this media obligations out of it, and you take it back to kind of like the purity of the sport or the purity of fighting, it's like, let your fighting talk. And he's going, oh, I can't speak great English, so I'm just going to literally let my performances do it. And that's brilliant. The fact that he's garnered so much respect in the game because of that, it's so impressive, and I can't wait to see what's next for him.
Hey, Ian, right back here.
Hey, how are you? Good?
I'm doing pretty good. Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you.
Ian, I want to ask you, not just a married man, but going to be a family man, as you announced after your last fight. Are the motivations in training camp for these fights different, knowing it's not just about you or even just your wife, but that it is going to be, you know, for the next generation and for your son or daughter?
So it's a boy, just to clarify. It's a little boy. But I wouldn't say the motivation. I don't fight for my family. I fight for myself. I fight because I love fighting. I compete because I love competition. My family, I obviously want to have, my favorite thing about fighting is I'm going to use it to travel the world. Like when you look at Florida, when you look at New York, when you look at Vegas, it's like I'm able to go to these amazing places and have like different cultures, different people, surround myself with some of the best in the world at what we do, and just enjoy the process, enjoy the travel, enjoy the freedom. And the fact that I get to do it with my family so close by my side is going to be awesome. So the motivation hasn't changed, but my life will be different after this in regards to, like, I will have a little boy that is going to depend on me, that I have to feed and have to look after and help become his own man, and I'm just excited for that. I think that in and of itself is the coolest thing I think a man can do, is to help raise his son and bring him to be a successful, happy man himself. And I just want to be the best dad I can as well. So everything I do in life, I want to be the best at. I don't want to be average at anything. I don't want to not succeed in the best way I possibly can. And maybe that's why I come across as fucking too confident or anything. It's like, because I want to be the best at everything I do. I want to be the best dad. I want to have the happiest family. And I think that's a good a good attitude to have in life. I mean, we only have one ride on this trip. We might as well make it happen.
To follow up on something that you just said, you know, obviously with the UFC, especially in recent months now, traveling around the world and getting back out. But what would it mean to you personally to go back to Ireland under the UFC banner?
So that's something I've been saying all week. People have been saying, what happens when you go 3-0 in the UFC? What happens when you remain 10-0 undefeated? What happens then? What's next? Obviously, I have a baby on the way, and that deserves every bit of attention and respect from my wife and for my baby, so I can make sure everything is good with them. But I don't see why we couldn't have a UFC Dublin. I don't see why we couldn't kind of light that fire behind the Irish MMA again. There's only me and Conor in the UFC from Ireland that are active, and the return of him, whether it be late this year, early next year, I think it'd be nice to kind of just light that fire again and get everyone excited. So that's what I'd like. That'd be my dream now, as the UFC Dublin.
My final question, just what kind of stuff did you pick up from working with Boss Rudin and Wonderboy with the Karate Combat guys?
Oh, dude, Bass and Wonderboy are unbelievable. Obviously, I'm a striker. I love striking. I love everything about it. It's like a chess game, and to be able to sit there and speak to one of the best strikers that have ever been in the UFC, and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, is phenomenal. To just even get a relationship with him that we can now sit there and talk and like potentially meet up and train together. I invite him to my house this week to see if he wanted to come over and train. He's a great energy. And the same with Baz. You're literally talking about a UFC Hall of Famer who has so much knowledge that he could pass through. And he was sat there and he said, give me 1 week with you. He was like, give me 1 week and we can add so many things to your game. And I said, I'm in. Let me know. Let me know when you've moved house and I'll come out to Texas and we'll do some stuff together.
Thank you.
Ian, over here in the same spot.
Hey, dude, how are you?
Good, you?
Good, man.
So there's a thrilling bout over the weekend at Cage Warriors, and Reese McKee won the welterweight title that you had vacated last year. Did you get a chance to see that fight, and what do you make of Reese's abilities?
I did get a chance. I specifically sat in a taxi and didn't move until the fight was finished. It was a great fight. I like both lads. I think both lads are very good. I think Reese obviously had it hard when he got signed to the UFC on short notice and was put in there with Hamzat. It's not a nice debut to have, I would say, for someone, especially on short notice. Even if you had a camp, it would still be dirty. But I think Reese just has the attitude of, all right, it didn't go well the first time round. That doesn't mean it's not impossible to kind of get back there and to improve. I mean, there's always going to be a second chance if you work hard enough for it. And I think he's obviously, he got dropped from the UFC. He's gone back. He's learned. He's grown. And now he's got the Cage Warriors title. And I wish him nothing but success. You know, if we can add another Irishman to the UFC roster, that'd be fucking insane. And again, another reason for UFC Dublin, get more guys on the card. So yeah, it was a great fight and it was a great performance and a great finish for him. So I'm happy for him.
Thanks, Ian.
Appreciate it, man. We good? Happy days. Appreciate your time as always. Have a great week, guys.